Okay, so now I wanted to go over the peer review um, and show you I've made a couple changes. Hopefully it makes it easier for people. So here we are at the home page. I'm going to go to the modules page. I'm going to go to week 6, right? And then, whoops, week 6. And so I've moved some things around. Here's the original discussion board. So you do not have to post on the original discussion board because you now have a group discussion board. However, I'm going to continue to put things, for example, post how I do, drop various helpful things on the main discussion board. This is just a little graphic about how to make your sentences connect with one another, basically making sure that you're like repeating, going out of your way to maybe repeat a certain word so that it helps keep the connection between one sentence and the next and the next. And then this one is about if you take your paragraph, like I did up here, these first, and then underneath it, it's easier to do by hand, but I drew a line that represents the sentence. And I just keep drawing and I keep including punctuation wherever it shows up, right? So here's the period in my paragraph, and so I basically put it in the same place here, right? What you get out of this is you get to see what your sentence variety is, meaning do you vary the length of your sentences? If you do that, your writing's automatically better. You just use different length sentences, it's automatically more engaging. If you don't do that, then it can be automatically sort of boring, I guess is a way to do it. Anyway, and then I have a little video that's short about me explaining that, basically how to make connections, create flow, and transition. In any event, this is where I will still post things. I'm also hoping, if I can keep remembering, I will try to post it also on your individual pages. So here, let's take a look. Module 6, everybody should have a group, right? Their name is there. And so if you click on the group itself, I put this as the worksheet in case this link didn't work. Sometimes they don't work. This is the peer review sheet, so you will want to download a copy of one of those. I'll actually go over the review sheet itself, but this is what it looks like. So you're basically downloading a copy of that, and then I just went ahead and assigned people partners. I know in some places in this, it describes like posting your essay, and then you review that essay of whoever posts after you, and so on. So sometimes it causes confusion. So I just decided I would go, all right, here's the essays. I mean, here are the partners. So what you need to do then is you find your group, then you come down basically to reply, right? And then you're going to attach your rough draft. Before you do that, you're going to give a little information about. Let me see if I have it on that one. Here we go. This is what. So in your post, attachments are always better than copying and pasting in general. If you can just, because that gives them a document. And sometimes some people like to actually help with the editing. You don't have to do that. Nobody's required to do that, but you can mark up their essay if you want, like comments and stuff like that. Some people like to do that. But no matter what, it's easier if you could just upload a document. So if you're using something, you want to convert it to a doc or convert it to a PDF, I guess either way will work. And in your post, you're going to also, so attach your document, but you're also going to compose a solid paragraph where you address at least 3 of your major revision goals. So you basically want to be like, here are the 3 things I already know that I want to work on. 3 different parts of whichever aspects of it. And you're not listing mechanical items, right? Don't worry, like grammar and APA, because that's not really a thing. So you're really trying to think about your journal, for example, the journal thing that you just did, and what what of these things, or what is even within these things, are three things that you want to work on. So you write a paragraph, then you post. No, sorry, I just had skipped. So this is where you write your paragraph, right? And then you basically post, and you will have your essay attached and your paragraph. I encourage people to do this sooner rather than later, right? Just because the more time you can give your partner to do this, the better off they will be. So whenever you have a spare moment, just go ahead and post it. So here's what the peer review worksheet looks like, and I'm going to go over sort of making it more specific. So it does divide it, right? It divides it into these different elements. I just tried to make it more less broad, I guess, less general. So for example, so in your suggestion world, you want to have a 3-sentence response. That's the minimum. You can always write more. You want to have at least one suggestion. So you want to make yourself come up with some suggestion. It's way too easy for us just to be like, oh, that section's perfect. They don't need to do anything. That, to me, that always signals that people just want to, it's just easier to not say anything. So try to make some sort of suggestion, whether they could use a different piece of evidence or more evidence, or whether they need to explain the quote more, whether the topic sentence has because in it, and so on. So anyway, one suggestion, you want to quote directly from their essay when you're making your suggestion. You want to use an example. That's sort of the similar thing when you're discussing it. And then grammar and language is professional and correct. So so in each section, so the section of structure and unity, right? Over here, I've listed some suggestions. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm going to post this version so people can access this. Yours is blank, right? Yours is just blank, and I wanted to go ahead and give some suggestions. So I will post my version of this exact one, in each of the groups, so you can download it and use it. Excellent. I love that little thing. That's funny. Because it's trying to help you for each section, right? So possible suggestions, you could improve the thesis. It's more focused or broad, or using the word because, the strength of the connection between the conclusion and the thesis, right? Because the conclusion is trying to restate what the thesis was, so there is a connection there. Organization, you're looking at a couple of things, right? Are the points being made in order? Like, is there a logical order? Does it go from strongest argument to weakest argument, weakest argument to strongest argument? That's just something to pay attention to and decide which effect you want, right? The idea of a writing class is trying to figure out the effect that you want to achieve with writing, and then knowing how to do that, right? Making yourself be able to do that. So this is a little bit about looking at your, but this, again, you're looking at their art essay, right? And you're trying to be like, all right, is there an order to it? Or if anything, that can help you decide whether maybe a paragraph is out of place, right? That can help them with the organization. So that's the organization of the essay overall. Are there too many quotes? Are the quotes too long? Are there places where paraphrasing would be better than quoting? Okay. Now let me see if these are still. Okay, so that's my video for flow and transitions. Oh, right, I kept forgetting where we were. So for each of these, I guess I tried to make, my goal was to do this, right? Have very brief, short videos on each thing. So this is writing great conclusions, very brief. So they all should be very short videos that help you explain what you want to look at, right? The worksheet itself, all on the left side here, tells you what it is. I just like I separated it out because the one that they give everybody is just very, I don't know, broad. So here's view counter argument. Here's view rhetorical appeals, because you're looking at the technique and so on. So I will make sure, it looks like these are all still working. They just had, okay. And there's the rhetorical appeals, just the ways of persuading. Okay. So let me do this at the moment. So that's the essay. I mean, that's the week. So the peer review really is the main point, and they set aside a whole week for this because they want you to give great, as much in-depth feedback as you can. And then you'll have and during this week I'm also going over your essay and grading it and making suggestions. And so by the end of the week, you should have your peer review from your peer with a bunch of stuff on it, suggestions and so on. And then you'll have all of my comments that I make on your essay in Canvas. And then basically, week 7 is revision time, where you're going through and we talk a lot about revising and so on. Okay, so I'm gonna stop that here.